Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video thumbs up. The sun set low over Los Angeles, throwing lengthy shadows on the sleek glass exterior of Forrester Creations. Logan Design's fashion preview had ended in catastrophe just days before, and the ripple effects were just now beginning to wreak havoc on the lives of everyone tied to the Forrester and Logan empires. Brooke Logan Forrester stood at her office window, her manicured fingers grasping the edge of her desk, replaying the moment she rushed the runway with a microphone in hand, declaring open war on her own sister. Katie Logan Spencer had ventured to create a collection based on Eric Forrester's original ideas, which properly belonged to Forrester Creations. Brooke's speech had been powerful, booming through the throng, but now reality had crept in like a thundercloud. Logan's future was hanging on a thread, and Brooke was not going to allow her sister's treachery go unpunished. Ridge Forrester walked behind her, his jaw tightened. "It's not just about the outfits, Logan. This is family. Eric's legacy. Katie and Bill think they can take it and claim ownership? We'll shut them down." His comments had the weight of decades of antagonism, but they also hinted at something deeper: protection coupled with tiredness from unending family feuds. Eric sat silently in the corner, his hands quivering slightly as he drew absent-mindedly. The terror of seeing his inventions exhibited under a different banner had aged him overnight. "I trusted Bill," he mumbled. Katie assured it was a cooperation. "Now, look at us." Katie straightened the neckline of her shirt while looking in the mirror at the Spencer estate across town. The launch had been a huge success in terms of attendance, but Brooke's interruption had made it tabloid fodder. "They can't take this from us," she informed Bill Spencer, who sat on the leather sofa with a scotch in hand. Bill grinned, always the bulldog. "Let them try. We legally own those designs today." Eric signed off in spirit, but their son Will Spencer didn't buy it. He stormed into the room that afternoon, his eyes brimming with betrayal. "Mom and Dad, stolen? That's what RJ called them at work today. Stolen. How could you bring Eric's name into this? I grew up idolizing Forrester Creations, and now I'm expected to defend it." Katie reached for him, but Will backed away. "You're both so blinded by winning that you don't see what this is doing to us." Bill remained steady, his voice deep. "Son, get over it. Logan is also part of your future. Those designs put food on our table, your table." The fight erupted swiftly, with shouts increasing until Will slammed the door behind him, leaving Katie in tears. The uncomfortable truth of how far Bill had gone beyond the legal limits to get those sketches gnawed at her, but she buried it deep. For now. The next morning at Forrester Creations, the showroom was filled with the usual creative energy, but an undercurrent of animosity crackled like lightning. RJ Forrester, Brooke and Ridge's son, had spent the night angry at Will's defense of his parents. He surrounded Will among the fabric samples, balling his fists at his sides. "You're just like your father, Will, a Spencer heir. Bill manipulated Eric, and now you're here pretending everything is okay." Will did not back down. He moved closer, chest to chest. "And you are Ridge's puppet, RJ. Always has been. I am not going anywhere. Logan is legitimate, and if you can't handle competition, perhaps Forrester should grow." The conflict grabbed attention from everybody across the room. Designers interrupted their work, while interns murmured. RJ pushed Will hard against a display rack, sending bolts of silk spilling to the floor. "Keep out of our house." The shove was not gentle. Will stumbled, catching himself on a mannequin that nearly toppled. Security raced in moments later to separate them before punches flew, but the damage had already been done. Workplace violence had broken out in the heart of the fashion business, with rumors of lawsuits and restraining orders already spreading. Steffi Forrester Finnegan, seeing from the executive suite via security stream, shook her head. "This family is crumbling. Again." Melissa Dillon, better known as Dylan to her friends, stepped into this explosive keg on her first official day at Forrester Creations. Dylan, who had been hired as an assistant designer at Steffi's request, arrived with a portfolio of new ideas and a worried smile. She had told her roommate, Deke, about the possibility, hoping to prove herself beyond her small-town background. But Electra Forrester, Ivy's niece and a rising star on the design team, recognized her right away in the showroom. Electra's eyes furrowed as Dylan organized mood boards. "What are you doing here? This is not an internship for outsiders." Dylan's voice remained calm despite the knot in her gut. "Steffi hired me. I deserved this," Electra said cruelly, getting too near. "Did you earn it? Or did you beg for it because you couldn't have it trimmed anyplace else? Stay away from my designs, and my family." The encounter was tinged with hidden envy. Electra had been coveting the same promotion position, and Dylan's entrance seemed like a personal affront. No physical blow was delivered, but the tension hung heavy, another layer of professional friction threatening to boil over. Meanwhile, Daphne Rose walked the hallways, a secret burning within her. Daphne was married to Carter Walton in a whirlwind romance that had everyone talking, and she had overheard Ivy Forrester's new ploy. Ivy, ever the meddler, was intentionally destroying Will and Electra's burgeoning romance by sowing doubts and guiding Electra towards RJ instead. "Electra deserves better than a Spencer," Ivy said in Daphne during a moment of weakness. "RJ is steady. Forrester blood." Daphne had sworn to be silent, but the weight pushed down on her like a heavy coat. That afternoon, she met Carter for lunch in the Forrester courtyard. "You seem distracted, babe," Carter remarked, his fingers warm on hers. "Is there anything you'd want to tell me?" Daphne paused, her secret becoming more distressing with each passing day. It's family stuff." Carter squeezed lightly, feeling the storm. "Ivy has strong ideas about love. We're partners now. There are no secrets between us." She nearly broke down, but the dread of severing alliances kept her silent. Later, alone in their new apartment, Daphne paces. Could she truly remain silent forever? If Carter discovered the truth, that Ivy had gone so far as to spread false rumors about Will's loyalty to Electra, he could insist on confronting her. The couple's desire to create a family complicated matters further. They had been trying for months, following cycles and hoped for positive results. Maybe this month, Daphne said to herself, clutching a pregnancy test stick that had come up negative yet again. Frustration grew, infertility loomed as a new obstacle, challenging their young marriage in ways neither expected. By midweek, the Logan Forrester animosity had escalated. Brooke and Ridge unexpectedly interrupted another Logan strategy session, Brooke's words cutting through the air like a razor. "This ends now, Katie. Return the designs or face the consequences." Katie stood erect alongside Bill, but her eyes showed the strain. "You've declared war, sister. We're fighting back." The gathering descended into shouting matches, reopening old wounds, Brooke's relationship with Bill, Katie's years in the shadows. Will watched from the sidelines, his last confrontation with RJ still fresh, a bruise on his arm from the shove. "This is tearing us apart," he said quietly to no one. The previous day's workplace violence had caused ripples. HR letters about professional conduct circulated, but no one expected the peace to stay. Electra, still seething after her meeting with Dylan, confided in Ivy on a coffee run. "She is everywhere, Aunt Ivy. And RJ continues lurking as if he owns the place." Ivy smirked knowingly, her covert sabotage working flawlessly. "Stick with RJ. He's your future." However, Daphne's conscience cracked further as she overheard parts. That evening, Sarah and Carter discussed their family plans over supper. "The tests keep saying no," Daphne said, tears welling up. Carter drew her closer. "We will see specialists. We're in this together." Their link grew stronger with vulnerability, yet the unsaid truth about Ivy hung like a shadow. As the first week came to a conclusion, temptation emerged in unexpected places. Deacon Sharp wiped down the bar at his restaurant, Illinois Giardino, recalling Steffi's severe warning, "Taylor is off limits." Taylor Hayes had started popping by more regularly, their common past drawing them together like magnets. "Deacon, we can't keep doing this dance," Taylor murmured one night after closing, brushing her palm against his at the bar. The air thickened with increasing temptation. Steffi's wrong about us, Deacon said quietly. They exchanged a heated gaze, one that promised more. Sheila Sharp, Deacon's wife, recognized the shift but rejected it for the time being. Taylor is just lonely, she reminded herself. But the attraction was unmistakable, with late-night emails growing amorous and a covert rendezvous scheduled for the weekend ahead. The second week began with additional repercussions. Dylan eased into her work at Forrester and sketched till late in the evening. Electra approached her again near the cutting tables. "Do you think you belong here?" Dylan yelled back, "Talent doesn't care about last names." The debate heated up when Electra knocked over Dylan's portfolio, scattering papers. It wasn't a punch, but the anger seemed violent in the antiseptic environment. Another incident reported, tensions rising to a breaking point. RJ intervened and drew Electra aside. "She is not the adversary. Focus on the line." His words held weight, and Electra softened briefly, Ivy's influence whispering in her ear to depend on him rather than Will. Meanwhile, Will yelled at his parents again over breakfast. "RJ is correct. This looks horrible." "Fix it," Bill declined, reinforcing Logan's independence. Katie mediated, but the worrisome truth of the design acquisition paperwork, forged signatures in murky areas, had haunted her sleep. The family's separation worsened, with working disagreements at Forrester matching personal ones. Daphne's secret had reached a critical point. Ivy took her aside in the design studio. "You haven't said anything, right? What about my tiny pushes with Electra?" Daphne nodded, but remorse ate away her. That night, Carter observed her remoteness. "Speak to me, Daphne. Whatever it is, we will deal with it." She disclosed somewhat, implying Ivy's involvement but not going into detail. Carter's eyes widened. "Sabotage? That's not correct. We can't keep quiet." The chat lasted into the early hours, with their infertility issues adding emotional depth. "A baby would fix nothing if our home is built on lies," Mr. Carter remarked. Daphne sobbed, the weight lifted slightly, but the option loomed, reveal Ivy or bear the burden. Temptation had completely sparked for Deacon and Taylor. They gathered at a remote beach overlook with the intention of catching up. Taylor muttered, "This is dangerous," when Deacon's hand touched hers. "But I've missed this, you." Their kiss was unavoidable, intense, and forbidden. The clothes did not come off that night, but the promise weighed heavily. "We'll figure it out," Deacon promised. Sheila squinted her brows when she returned home to see Deacon arrive late. "Something's off," she whispered, her instincts intensifying. The rising urge threatened to escalate into a full-fledged romance, with secrets heaping on top of each other. By the end of the week, the workplace violence had turned into policy changes. RJ and Will were required to attend mediation sessions, while Dylan and Electra were assigned joint projects to force teamwork. Brooke cornered Katie in a neutral cafe. "End this, or I'll make Logan fold." Katie remained strong, but fractures appeared. "We are sisters. Don't ruin us." The conflict's toll was seen in empty eyes and restless nights. Daphne fought with her conscience on a regular basis, with Carter gently pressing for full disclosure. Their family ambitions were further hindered by another negative test, prompting them to discuss physicians and patients. "We'll get through it," Carter said, but the secret threatened their wedding joy. Electra and Will grabbed a quiet time away from the office tension, their chemistry evident despite Ivy's intervention. "Ignore the noise," Will whispered, bringing her closer. RJ watched from a distance, conflicted. His previous shove with Will a remorse he couldn't express. Deacon and Taylor snatched another rendezvous, temptation triumphing as hands wandered farther. "Sheila can't know yet," Taylor whispered. But eyes were everywhere in this close-knit community. As March 27th dawned, the canvas of Los Angeles was alive with unresolved drama. Dangerous secrets, Daphne's knowledge of sabotage, the ambiguous legality of Logan's plans, were about to explode. Workplace violence, ranging from shoves to verbal assaults, has marred the once glamorous hallways of Forrester Creations. Growing temptation drew Deacon and Taylor into an abyss, while Carter and Daphne struggled with infertility and honesty, and families like the Logans and Forresters fought for power. The following chapters loomed, each discovery threatening to rearrange alliances, rekindle emotions, and break delicate truces in the never-ending dance of love, power, and treachery that defined their universe. Brooke stood alone after another angry board meeting, musing on how one launch had unraveled so much. Katie gazed at her phone, considering a possible ceasefire call that would never come. Will texted Electra apologies mixed with tenderness, their relationship providing a bright spot in the midst of upheaval. Dylan scrutinized her sketches, striving to move above the trivial. Electra revealed her misgivings to Ivy, thereby furthering the sabotage. Daphne ultimately resolved that she would tell Carter everything tomorrow, regardless of the repercussions. Carter noticed the shift and prepared to stand by her. Deacon slipped Taylor a key to a private room, sealing their destiny. Sheila scheduled a surprise visit to Il Giardino, her radar pinging. Eric sketched fresh ideas, believing that legacy may repair the damage caused by greed. Ridge held Brooke, suggesting victory. Steffi planned interventions while oblivious of the personal storms developing. The last 2 weeks have converted simmering tensions into open battlegrounds. Secrets festered, mental and physical abuse left scars, and temptation spread like wildfire. Nobody got away unhurt in the glitzy but ruthless world of fashion and family. The bold and the beautiful's unrelenting pulse persisted, with each beating promising more disclosures, conflicts, and snatched moments that might either destroy or redefine everything. Over the following 2 weeks, tensions rise in Los Angeles as hidden facts, emotional strain, and hazardous encounters change countless lives. What starts as a peaceful suspicion gradually evolves into a succession of dramatic events that leave relationships hanging by a thread. Loyalties are tested, secrets threaten to emerge, and temptation intensifies for those who are already on shaky footing. The atmosphere at Forrester Creations becomes significantly strained as personal drama spills over into the workplace. What was once a hub of innovation and aspiration today feels fraught with conflict. Colleagues who previously worked well together are now walking on eggshells as unsolved issues boil under the surface. Several employees see the developing hatred amongst major players in the organization, and murmurs spread through the hallways. Everyone senses that something serious is developing. Ridge is particularly concerned with keeping the firm operating smoothly. But he quickly sees that emotional concerns within the team are threatening to derail production. His uneasiness grows when he notices some exchanges growing more heated. Ridge attempts to retain control and foster professionalism, but the personal relationships among co-workers make this practically impossible. Behind the scenes, he begins to fear that the tension may escalate into something far worse. Meanwhile, Brooke battles with residual questions about those closest to her. Though she attempts to be cheerful, she can't shake the notion that someone crucial in her life is hiding something. Her instincts have seldom proven incorrect, and this time is no exception. Small aspects begin to jump out to her: unusual conduct, abrupt shifts in tone, and times of concealment that do not match up. Brooke silently begins to piece together evidence, wondering whether the truth would confirm her concerns. She understands that facing the subject directly might have far-reaching consequences, yet ignoring it could enable the problem to worsen. Her internal fight becomes more intense as the days pass. Should she trust her intuition and explore deeper, or should she believe those she cares about? At the same time, Steffi is drawn into an unexpectedly complex emotional predicament. Her priority has always been to protect her family and preserve stability, but the events developing around her make this more impossible. Someone from her past begins to resurface in her life in subtle but significant ways. Old memories re-emerge, bringing back sensations she believed were long gone. Steffi attempts to set strict boundaries, but she can't resist the emotional tug she feels. The more time she spends with this individual, the harder it is to ignore their lingering connection. What begins as casual chat gradually turns into times of tension and unspoken longing. Steffi understands that succumbing to temptation would complicate her life in ways she is unprepared for, yet rejecting those urges becomes more harder than imagined. Meanwhile, Hope begins to notice that something is changing in her own reality. She has always tried to see the good in others, but recent events have called into question that belief. A sequence of unexpected meetings causes her to question the intentions of someone she had trusted fully. The notion that she may have been misled disturbs her severely. Hope is unsure how to answer. Part of her wants to tackle the problem directly and demand answers. Another part is concerned that the truth will disrupt the delicate equilibrium she has been attempting to maintain. The emotional weight of uncertainty increases with each passing day, making Hope feel more vulnerable than she has in a long time. Meanwhile, Liam becomes increasingly aware that tensions between the ladies in his life are rising again. He tries to be impartial and helpful, but the complex emotional dynamics around him make it nearly impossible. Liam finds himself in the midst of talks that are more like interrogations than debates. Everyone involved seemed to be looking for comfort, devotion, and understanding from him at the same time. As Liam strives to negotiate these sensitive relationships, he realizes that his efforts to please everyone may be making matters worse. His reluctance to take a definite stance causes misconceptions that exacerbate current tensions. Before long, Liam must make difficult decisions about where his true priorities lie. Back at Forrester Creations, workplace tensions began to boil over. A heated disagreement swiftly turns into something considerably more dangerous. Voices raise, accusations fly, and emotions get out of control. Several colleagues are taken aback as the disagreement escalates into physical violence in the office, leaving everyone scared. Security and management race to respond, but the harm has already been done. The tragedy sends shockwaves across the company. Employees begin to ask whether the work atmosphere has grown too toxic to handle. Some feel that underlying concerns are being overlooked, while others are concerned that this event may ruin the company's name. Ridge is outraged and very concerned. He understands that enabling such behavior in the workplace might have major implications. Determined to restore order, he begins researching what caused the dramatic confrontation. The more he discovers, the clearer it becomes that the confrontation was driven by secrets and personal grudges that had been simmering for weeks. Meanwhile, Brooke conducts a discreet inquiry into the concerns that have been troubling her. She eventually discovers information that verifies her fears. Someone she loves about has been hiding an essential fact. The finding has left her upset and outraged at the same time. The question now is what she will do with that information. Exposing the truth may cause immense anguish for many individuals, while keeping it hidden would entail carrying the burden alone. Brooke struggles with the moral consequences of her decision, knowing that whichever route she takes would irrevocably alter her relationships. Steffi finds herself at an emotional crossroads as the tension surrounding hidden truths rises. During an unforeseen moment of weakness, the temptation she has been resisting reaches a tipping point. A chat intended to clear the air unexpectedly becomes personal, requiring both parties to confront sentiments they had been attempting to repress. The connection between them is palpable, and for a little time, it appears that they may succumb to the tremendous urge that draws them together. However, reality suddenly intervenes. Steffi is reminded of the obligations and duties that shape her existence. She understands that one rash decision may devastate all she has fought so hard to safeguard. Nonetheless, the emotional bond remains unresolved, leaving each of them wondering what might happen if the circumstances were different. Meanwhile, Hope becomes increasingly eager to learn the truth about the disturbing circumstance that has been upsetting her. She starts asking more direct inquiries and observing the behavior of individuals around her. The answers she receives just add to the mystery, assuring her that something major is being purposely withheld. Hope eventually finds proof that alters everything. The news upends her emotions as she learns that the person she trusted may have deceived her in a significant way. Hurt and incredulity combine as she considers the consequences of what she's learned. Liam quickly finds himself dealing with the consequences of these findings. As accusations and emotional confrontations escalate, he becomes acutely aware that the fragile peace between those he loves about is disintegrating. The pressure on him to take sides grows stronger, pushing him to face facts he would rather ignore. The fallout of the violent incident is still having an impact on Forrester Creations. Some employees want tougher regulations and responsibility, while others claim that the scenario was the product of extreme emotional stress. Ridge and the leadership team work feverishly to stabilize the environment, but re-establishing trust is challenging. The tragedy also prompts some people to consider their own behavior and the part they may have had in establishing such a combustible environment. Regret and defensiveness combine when people try to rationalize their actions or separate themselves from guilt. As the 2 weeks proceed, the many tales start to interact in unexpected ways. Secrets that appeared unconnected before suddenly show hidden links. Conversations that begin as basic exchanges escalate into severe emotional confrontations. Each character must confront painful realities about themselves and others they care about. By the conclusion of the second week, the emotional landscape had changed considerably. Relationships that appeared to be steady before are now unclear. Trust has been shattered in ways that may not be readily rebuilt. The lasting repercussions of temptation, betrayal, and war make everyone worry what the future holds. Although some people try to repair relationships and seek forgiveness, others are overwhelmed by rage and bitterness. The route forward is everything but straightforward. With secrets exposed and emotions still boiling, the stage is set for even more dramatic developments in the coming weeks. The Bold and the Beautiful B&B spoilers for the next 2 weeks, March 16th to March 27th, predict that fans will witness professional friction, rising temptation, and worrisome secrets. Let's take a look at what's coming up on the CBS soap. During the week of March 16th to 20th, fans will witness the aftermath of Logan's fashion preview and the nightmare it has created for Eric Forrester, John McCook, Ridge Forrester, Torsten Kay, and Brooke Logan Forrester, Catherine Kelly Lang. Brooke has declared war on Katie Logan Spencer, Heather Tom, and the hatred is only going to grow worse. Katie and Brooke's conflict will escalate, perhaps jeopardizing Logan's future. After the fashion preview drama concludes, B&B spoilers predict will Spencer, Crew Morrow, will confront Katie and Bill about the stolen designs. Bill is going to hold firm in his belief that Logan owns those designs and will urge Will to accept it. R.J. Forrester, Brian Nicoletti, will battle with Will in the Forrester office. R.J. will drag Bill's reputation through the mud and pretend that Will is a chip off the old block, but Will make it plain that he is not going away. Melissa Dillon, Sydney Bullock, will spend her first formal day on the job at Forrester Creations. Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, is still unhappy about Dillon joining the firm, and she will express her unhappiness when they meet in the showroom. Meanwhile, Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, will continue to complain to Ivy Forrester, Ashley Brewer, about how she is interfering with Will and Electra's love story, but Ivy will be determined to send Electra on a better road with RJ. The week of March 23rd to 27th might leave Daphne grappling with this secret and wondering if she can truly remain silent forever. Will Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, feel Daphne's distress and encourage her to speak up? Carter and Daphne recently married, so keeping things from each other isn't a smart idea. If Daphne confides in Carter at some time, he may believe it is immoral to remain silent about all of Ivy's romantic sabotage. On another side, Carter and Daphne may eventually resume their conversation about starting a family. Daphne and Carter were expecting for pregnancy news by now, so they may become dissatisfied if their child dreams aren't coming true soon. Some infertility issues might be on the horizon, posing a significant hurdle for Daphne and Carter to overcome as a pair. Despite Steffi Forrester Finnegan's, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, warning that Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, and Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, were over, they can't resist temptation. Taylor and Deacon may find themselves drawn closer than ever before, so will they eventually hit the sheets? How long will it take until Sheila Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown, notices something's wrong? The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers claim the next 2 weeks will be jam-packed with action, so stay tuned.